She called me a liar. She called me a scammer. But
One second, everything looked normal. And the next, the entire 90-Day Fiancé universe was on fire. Lisa's face crumpled on screen, her voice trembling, and you could almost feel the air get sucked out of the room. It wasn't the usual reality TV meltdown either. This was raw, uncomfortable, the kind of moment that makes you want to look away, but you can't. Within minutes, social media was in chaos. Fans were posting clips, pausing, rewinding, analyzing every blink, every shaky breath. And then, like someone dropped a match in a room full of gasoline, the accusations started flying. Not from some random troll, but from Lisa's own family. Screenshots, comments, whispers about money, trust, and secrets that had nothing to do with what we'd seen on TV. Suddenly, the drama wasn't just about Lisa and Daniel's awkward night. It was about what TLC knew, what they showed, and what they might be hiding. Welcome to Reality Sport. I'm Oliva, and if you're as obsessed with the mess as I am, hit that subscribe button and drop your wildest theory in the comments. Because tonight, we're not just watching a show. We're pulling back the curtain on the biggest shocker to hit 90-Day Fiancé in years, and trust me, you're going to want to see how this plays out. So, what's really at stake here? For Lisa, everything she's built on camera and off. Her reputation, her relationships, her future on the show. For Daniel, it's the trust he thought he had, now shaken by a single moment that millions witnessed. For TLC, it's the promise they make to viewers, that what you see is real, that the drama is authentic, not manufactured or manipulated. And for fans, it's the question of whether you're being entertained or played. Because when a family member steps forward with receipts and the network goes silent, the line between reality and reality TV starts to blur fast. People are asking, did TLC see this coming? Did they know about the accusations before the cameras rolled? Or did they get blindsided like the rest of us? Is Lisa the villain, the victim, or something in between? And what about those rumors swirling around production? Are they quietly editing her out? Or is this all smoke and mirrors to keep us guessing? The stakes have never been higher, and the answers are nowhere in sight. But here's the twist. This isn't just about one explosive night or one messy relationship. It's about what happens when the drama spills off the screen and into real life. When secrets refuse to stay buried, and when the people behind the cameras have to decide how much is too much. Was this the moment that changed everything for Lisa, for Daniel, for the entire show? Or is the real shock still waiting to drop? It started with a door closing and two tired faces stepping into a quiet apartment, the kind of scene that usually fades into the background on reality TV. Lisa and Daniel barely made eye contact as they dropped their bags, the silence between them thick enough to cut. Then, out of nowhere, Lisa tried to break the tension with a simple question. Did Daniel want to shower together? On any other night, maybe that would have been a cute moment, a sign they were reconnecting after a long day. But Daniel didn't even hesitate. He said no, not coldly, not with anger, just flat, almost like he was answering a stranger. The air changed instantly. Lisa's face fell, her shoulders tensed, and you could see her fighting to keep her voice steady. She tried to laugh it off, but the smile never reached her eyes. Daniel kept his distance, arms crossed, gaze fixed on the floor. He tried to explain, said he was tired, but his words sounded rehearsed, like he'd been waiting for this exact moment. Lisa's questions started coming faster. Was he upset with her? Did he still find her attractive? Was something wrong? The more she asked, the more Daniel shut down. It was like watching a slow-motion car crash, and you could feel the panic rising in Lisa's voice. She wasn't just worried about a shower. She was terrified of what his answer meant for everything else. Fans watching live couldn't believe what they were seeing. The comment sections exploded. Some people felt for Lisa, saying they'd been there. That kind of rejection stings in a way you can't explain. Others thought she was overreacting, reading too much into a small moment. But then there were the ones who saw something deeper. A pattern, maybe, or a crack in the relationship that had been there all along. Theories started flying. Was Daniel checked out for good? Was Lisa hiding something? Or was this the first sign that the real story was about to break wide open? People started replaying the scene, looking for clues in every gesture. Lisa's hands shaking as she reached for her phone, Daniel's jaw clenched so tight you could almost hear his teeth grinding. The silence between their words said more than anything they actually spoke. It wasn't just awkward, it was uncomfortable, the kind of moment that makes you want to yell at the screen. And the more you watched, the more you wondered if this was about more than a shower, more than a bad day. Was Lisa's reaction a sign of something bigger, something she was desperate to keep hidden? Because while everyone was busy arguing about who was right and who was wrong, a storm was brewing off screen. Lisa's family was about to drop a bombshell that would make this scene look tame by comparison. And if you thought the drama was intense now, you haven't seen anything yet. The second the episode aired, the internet turned into a battleground. Twitter threads multiplied by the minute, Instagram stories lit up with reaction memes, and Facebook groups that usually argued about wedding dresses or visa paperwork were suddenly united in one thing: total shock. But the real chaos didn't start until a set of screenshots began circulating. Screenshots that claimed to come straight from Lisa's own sister. These weren't vague subtweets or cryptic comments. They were direct, detailed, and impossible to ignore. Allegedly, Lisa had borrowed money from friends and family for years, promising to pay it back and then disappearing when it was time to settle up. There were claims about deception, about stories that never quite added up, and even a jaw-dropping accusation that Lisa had faked a serious illness to get sympathy and financial help. No receipts, no official documents, but the tone was confident, almost like her sister had been waiting for this moment to go public. Fans split instantly. Some rushed to defend Lisa, saying family drama always gets messy when someone lands on TV, and you can't trust every angry relative with a grudge and a Wi-Fi connection. Others said the details were too specific to ignore, and if even half of it was true, Lisa's on-screen meltdown suddenly made a lot more sense. The debate got ugly fast. People started digging through old posts, looking for any sign that Lisa's story didn't match up. Others called out the sister for airing dirty laundry in front of millions, accusing her of chasing clout or trying to sabotage Lisa's shot at fame. Every hour, the story twisted again. New screenshots, new comments, new theories. Some fans even started tagging TLC, demanding answers, asking if the network had done any background checks or if they were just chasing drama at any cost. But the more people argued, the more the lines blurred. Was this a real warning from someone who knew Lisa best? Or was it a calculated move to grab attention while the cameras were rolling? Was Lisa the victim of a jealous family? Or was she hiding a double life behind the reality TV smile? The only thing everyone agreed on was that the show suddenly felt a lot less scripted and a lot more dangerous. And while the internet was busy picking sides, a few eagle-eyed fans noticed something strange happening in the background. TLC's editing choices started to look different, almost like someone was trying to erase Lisa from the story one scene at a time. If you thought the family drama was wild, wait until you see what the network does next. Suddenly, every episode felt like a puzzle. Fans who once watched for the romance or the fights now had their eyes glued to the background, counting every second Lisa appeared on screen. Early in the season, Lisa was everywhere, front and center in promos, her story teased in every trailer, her face popping up in group shots and confessionals. But after the accusations exploded online, something shifted. Scenes that should have been big moments for Lisa started to feel clipped, like someone had taken scissors to the footage. Conversations would start, tension would build, and then, cut. The show would jump to another couple, leaving Lisa's story hanging in midair. Even the social media teasers changed. Where Lisa once got her own highlight reels, now she was barely a blip, sometimes pushed to the background or missing entirely from cast photos. Theories multiplied. Some fans said this was classic TLC damage control, a slow fade out to avoid a messy public firing. Others argued it was all in people's heads, that editing always shifts as storylines change, and Lisa's drama had simply run its course. But the pattern was hard to ignore. Dedicated viewers started comparing episode runtimes, counting lines of dialogue, even analyzing the order of cast members in promo graphics. It became a game. Spot the edit, guess what got left on the cutting room floor. Every time Lisa's scene ended abruptly, the speculation grew louder. Was TLC protecting itself, or was this just the natural flow of reality TV? People started asking bigger questions. If the network was quietly phasing Lisa out, when did they make that call? Was it after the family accusations, or had they seen warning signs before the season even aired? And if they were editing her out, what did that mean for the rest of the cast? Was anyone safe from being erased if things got too messy? The silence from TLC only made things worse. No statements, no clarifications, just a slow, steady disappearance that felt more suspicious with every episode. But then, a new detail started to surface in fan discussions, something that made the editing mystery feel even more urgent. Buried in the family accusations was a mention of Lisa's daughter, a detail that hadn't gotten much attention at first but now threatened to drag the controversy into even deeper waters. If you thought the editing was strange, wait until you see how the story changes when a child is involved. The moment Lisa's daughter was mentioned, everything changed. Suddenly, this wasn't just about awkward showers or family feuds, it was about a child who might have been caught in the crossfire. The accusations swirling online took on a new weight. Fans who had been arguing about Lisa's motives or Daniel's reactions now found themselves asking much bigger questions. If even a fraction of what was being said was true, what had Lisa's daughter experienced behind closed doors? Was she safe? Had she been pulled into the chaos of reality TV without a choice? The emotional stakes shot through the roof, and the conversation shifted from gossip to genuine concern. People started demanding answers from TLC, not just about Lisa, but about the network's entire process. How did someone with so much alleged baggage make it onto the show? Did producers know about the family drama before filming, or did they only care about ratings? The idea that a child might have been affected made the silence from TLC feel even more unsettling. Viewers who once tuned in for entertainment now felt a responsibility to hold the network accountable. The comment sections filled with calls for transparency, for background checks, for someone, anyone, to step in if things had gone too far. The emotional impact was impossible to ignore. Clips of Lisa's on-screen breakdowns started circulating again, but now people watched them differently. Every tear, every shaky breath, every desperate question to Daniel was re-examined through the lens of what might have been happening off-camera. Was Lisa's distress a sign of deeper issues? Was the show exploiting someone who needed help, not a spotlight? And if a child was involved, did TLC have a duty to step in, or at least to make sure she was protected from the fallout? The questions kept piling up. Did TLC miss the warning signs, or did they see them and look the other way? Was the network so focused on drama that they ignored red flags, or were they blindsided like everyone else? The stakes had never been higher, and the pressure on TLC was building by the day. But as fans demanded answers, another layer of the story started to emerge, one that had nothing to do with editing or family drama and everything to do with contracts, legal risks, and the complicated world of reality TV production. If you thought things were messy now, wait until you see what happens when lawyers get involved. TLC didn't say a word, not a tweet, not a press release, not even a vague comment from a producer. The silence was deafening, and it only made the speculation louder. Every day that passed without an official response, fans grew more restless. Some said the network was hoping the storm would blow over, that if they ignored the controversy long enough, people would move on to the next scandal. Others believed TLC was scrambling behind the scenes, lawyers poring over contracts, executives weighing the risks of saying anything at all. In the world of reality TV, silence isn't just a strategy, it's a shield. Networks know that one wrong word can trigger lawsuits, breach contracts, or even open the door to bigger investigations. So they wait, they watch, and they let the audience argue among themselves. But the fans weren't having it. Every unanswered question became a new theory. Was TLC protecting Lisa or protecting themselves? Did they know about the accusations before casting her, or did they only find out when the internet exploded? Was the editing a sign of damage control, or was it business as usual? The pressure kept building, with viewers tagging the network in every post, demanding transparency, and threatening to boycott if they didn't get answers. The silence became its own kind of statement, one that said, "We're not ready to talk about this yet." But that only made people more suspicious. Some fans started digging into the fine print of reality TV contracts, sharing screenshots of old lawsuits and stories from past cast members who claimed they'd been silenced by non-disclosure agreements. Others speculated that TLC was conducting an internal review, quietly interviewing producers and sifting through hours of footage to figure out what went wrong. The idea that the network might be hiding something bigger started to take hold. Was this about protecting a brand, or was there a deeper problem lurking beneath the surface? The longer TLC stayed quiet, the more the story grew. Every day brought new rumors, new leaks, new reasons to wonder if the network was about to face a reckoning. And while the official channels stayed silent, whispers of an internal investigation started to spread, hinting that the real story was still waiting to break. Every reality show promises drama, but there's a point where drama turns into something darker. Watching Lisa break down on screen, you could feel the discomfort ripple through the audience. It wasn't the kind of fight you laugh about later or a meltdown that gets memed to death. This was real distress, the kind that makes you wonder if the cameras should have kept rolling at all. Daniel's reaction was complicated too. He tried to stay calm, but you could see the tension in his jaw, the way he kept glancing at the crew, maybe hoping someone would step in. But no one did. The producers let the scene play out, capturing every shaky breath, every desperate question, every moment that felt less like entertainment and more like a warning sign. It's easy to forget that the people on these shows aren't characters, they're real, with real families, real problems, and real consequences when things go wrong. Lisa's pain wasn't scripted, and Daniel's discomfort wasn't staged. The fallout didn't end when the cameras stopped. Fans saw it, felt it, and started asking if reality TV had finally crossed a line. Was this about telling a story, or was it about squeezing every last drop of drama from someone who was already struggling? The producers faced a choice: step in and risk losing the raw footage that keeps viewers hooked, or stay silent and let the story spiral out of control. The practical impact is huge. Every time a show pushes someone to their breaking point, it sends a message to the rest of the cast and to the audience about what's acceptable in the name of ratings. It blurs the line between documenting real life and exploiting real pain. And when the audience starts to feel complicit, when people wonder if they're watching someone unravel for their own entertainment, the trust that keeps these shows alive starts to crack. Now, everyone's asking if this controversy will force reality TV to change. Will networks start protecting their cast, or will they double down on the chaos that keeps people watching? Will producers finally draw a line, or will the next scandal push things even further? The answer isn't clear, but one thing is certain: the power to decide what happens next might not belong to the network, the cast, or even the producers. There's a final twist coming, and it's going to change the game for everyone. The moment the controversy hit, fans didn't just sit back and watch. They mobilized. It started with a few sharp-eyed viewers noticing Lisa's shrinking screen time, but soon, entire online communities were working together, piecing together timelines, comparing episode edits, and sharing every scrap of information they could find. Reddit threads turned into digital war rooms, with users posting side-by-side screenshots of Lisa's early season appearances versus her sudden fade into the background. Instagram accounts that usually posted memes and wedding predictions switched gears, now tracking every move TLC made, every statement they didn't release, every suspicious cut in the latest episode. The audience wasn't just watching the show anymore, they were dissecting it, frame by frame, and demanding answers in real time. Pressure started to build, and it wasn't just noise. Fans began tagging TLC in every post, flooding their official pages with questions, and even reaching out to sponsors, asking if they were comfortable being associated with a show that might be hiding something serious. The network's silence, which might have worked in the past, now felt like a challenge. Every unanswered question became fuel for more speculation. Was Lisa being quietly erased because of the accusations? Or was TLC hoping the audience would lose interest if they just waited long enough? The editing changes, the lack of promos, the sudden shift in focus to other couples, none of it went unnoticed. Fans started to see themselves as watchdogs, holding the network accountable in a way that hadn't happened before. The accusations from Lisa's family, which might have faded into the background in another era, stayed front and center because the audience refused to let them go. Every time a new episode aired, viewers went back to the original claims, comparing what was said online to what was shown on TV. If Lisa looked upset, people wondered if it was because of the off-screen drama. If Daniel seemed distant, fans speculated about what he might have known. The silence from TLC only made things worse. Instead of calming the storm, it made the audience more determined to get to the truth. People started sharing stories from past seasons, pointing out patterns where controversial cast members slowly disappeared without explanation. Was this just another case of TLC protecting itself, or was there something unique about Lisa's situation? The emotional payoff for fans was real. For the first time, it felt like their voices mattered. When enough people demanded answers, the network had to pay attention. Sponsors started to notice the backlash, and even some former cast members weighed in, sharing their own experiences with editing and behind-the-scenes drama. The collective scrutiny turned the audience into a force that couldn't be ignored. It wasn't just about Lisa anymore. It was about the power of viewers to shape the narrative, to demand transparency, and to hold networks accountable for what they put on screen. But with all that power came new questions. Was Lisa gone for good? Or was there a chance she could come back? Some fans argued that the editing changes were temporary, a way for TLC to buy time while they figured out how to handle the controversy. Others believed the network had already made up its mind, and Lisa's story was being quietly wrapped up, never to be mentioned again. The lack of an official statement kept everyone guessing. Every episode became a guessing game. Would Lisa appear, or would she be edited out again? Would the show address the accusations, or keep pretending nothing had happened? The uncertainty kept viewers hooked. People who might have tuned out after the initial drama now watched every episode more closely, searching for clues, debating every scene, and sharing their theories online. The open loops from earlier in the season, editing changes, family accusations, TLC's silence, were all still in play, and the audience wasn't letting go. The power dynamic had shifted. TLC, once in control of the narrative, now found itself reacting to the audience, trying to manage the fallout without making things worse. The emotional stakes were higher than ever. Fans who had once watched for entertainment now felt invested in the outcome, not just for Lisa, but for what it meant for the future of the show. If the network could quietly erase someone without explanation, what did that say about their commitment to authenticity? If accusations could be ignored as long as ratings stayed high, what did that mean for the people who trusted the show to tell real stories? The collective scrutiny forced everyone, producers, cast members, even sponsors, to think twice about how they handled controversy. And yet, the biggest question remained unanswered. Was Lisa really gone? Or was there a comeback brewing behind the scenes? Some fans pointed to cryptic social media posts, suggesting that Lisa might return in a future season, or at least get a chance to tell her side of the story. Others believed the damage was done, and TLC would never risk bringing her back after everything that had happened. The lack of closure kept the conversation alive, fueling speculation and keeping viewers glued to their screens week after week. The audience had become more than just spectators. They were investigators, influencers, and in many ways, the real power behind the show. Their collective voice had forced the network to respond, even if that response was silence. The story wasn't over, and as long as the open loops remained, the audience would keep watching, waiting for the next twist, the next reveal, the next chance to hold the network accountable. The question of Lisa's fate hung in the air, unresolved, a reminder that in reality TV, the real drama often happens off-screen, and the people watching at home are never as powerless as they seem. And with every unanswered question, every new theory, every episode that left more unsaid than revealed, the audience's grip on the story only grew stronger, setting the stage for whatever comes next, whether it's a shocking comeback, a quiet exit, or a twist no one saw coming. Lisa's story doesn't end with a dramatic exit or a teary reunion. It hangs in the air, unfinished, because TLC never gave the audience the closure they craved. No official statement, no on-screen explanation, not even a hint in the reunion special. Lisa's fate is a question mark, and that silence is louder than any plot twist the show could have scripted. Every week, fans tuned in, hoping for answers, but all they got was more uncertainty. The editing cuts, the missing confessionals, the sudden focus on other couples, each was a clue, but none of them spelled out the truth. The network's refusal to address the controversy head-on left everyone guessing, and that uncertainty became the real story. Looking back, the biggest twists weren't just the accusations or the on-screen breakdowns. It was the way the drama spilled out of the show and into real life, dragging fans, family, and even sponsors into the mess. The moment Lisa's sister went public, the stakes changed. Suddenly, it wasn't just about a relationship on the rocks. It was about trust, about what the audience is willing to accept, and about how far a network will go to protect its brand. The unanswered questions piled up. Did TLC know about the accusations before casting Lisa? Did they ignore red flags for the sake of ratings? Was the editing a cover-up, or was it business as usual? And what about Lisa's daughter? Was she ever really at risk, or was her name used to raise the stakes in a family feud? The emotional beats hit hard. Lisa's breakdown, Daniel's distance, the way fans turned from supporters to investigators. The collective anxiety, the anger, the empathy, it all played out in real time, not just on TV, but across every social platform. People who started out rooting for love ended up questioning the entire premise of the show. Was it ever about real relationships, or was it always about the next big scandal? The saga forced everyone to confront the uncomfortable truth that reality TV isn't just entertainment. It's a business, and sometimes the people at the center of the story pay the highest price. This whole saga is a test of trust. Trust between the cast and the producers, between the network and the audience, and even between fans themselves. When that trust breaks, it's almost impossible to put back together. TLC's silence didn't just leave Lisa's fate unresolved, it left a crack in the foundation of the show itself. Viewers started to wonder if they could believe anything they saw, or if every emotional moment was just another carefully edited scene. The responsibility to protect cast members, to tell the truth, to step in when things go too far, those aren't just talking points. They're the difference between a show that lasts and one that burns out in scandal. But the story isn't over. The audience is still watching, still waiting, still holding the network accountable. Every unanswered question is a reason to keep tuning in, to keep searching for the truth, to keep pushing for change. Lisa's fate might be unwritten, but the impact of her story is already shaping the future of reality TV. Producers are paying closer attention, fans are more vocal than ever, and the line between drama and exploitation is under a microscope. The next scandal, the next twist, the next couple to step into the spotlight, they'll all be judged by what happened here. And if you think this is the last time TLC will face a reckoning, think again. There's always another secret, another controversy, another couple whose story is about to explode. If you want to know what happens when the cameras stop rolling, when the truth refuses to stay hidden, and when the audience refuses to look away, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Because on Reality Sport, we're not just watching the show, we're watching the watchers. And the next chapter is about to begin.